people. For example, now, let's say they have 1 million registered voters in this state, 20 local government areas, 50,000 registered voters. I'm just using random figure now. 50,000 registered voters in each local government, 20 local government area. That's 1 million registered voters. So voters card, oh yeah, go and give them their voters card. From INEC, INEC would take 500,000 voters card, go and dump it in a latrine. The remaining 500,000 voters card, they will give it to this particular area, give it here, give it there, and all that. So which means if they are going to push out the figures, it will come from this side, and these ones won't have their voters card to vote. That's the primary one. They said, oh, they have this IRF technology that they spent over 300 billion naira to put together. No, it was actually for their own election. The IRF, the Beavers, they said they spent about 70 billion naira from that 300 billion naira. And that one was to capture everybody physically that is participating in the election. Then it is time for them to impute. Say, okay, out of the 500,000 votes, this party A gets 30% of the votes, 150,000 is DL inside their own IRF, like it's DL online. Party B got 40% of the vote, 200,000 votes. Then INEC will turn around and say they have to enter it, they have to announce results manually. So manually then means she party A that got 30%, they will change it to 70%. Party B that got 40%, they will change that one to maybe 21%. And they will tell you to go to court. Now the court will now say, in this court, there's a technical way to file your case. You have 14 days, okay, to file your case and evidence. And you can't file your case until you receive the original copy of the results from INEC. So INEC will now be playing hide and seek. You'll be looking for them. They won't give you. Then you rush to court because you have time. Then you have to file the case. Court, these people know they give me evidence of all the material used for election. They are not giving it to me. The court will say, okay, we adjourn till next week. We'll give judgment on that. By next week, the 2 weeks that you were supposed to file your case has already lapsed. The court will now order them. Yeah, give them the evidence now. INEC will now be giving you the evidence in pieces, not the whole thing. So when you finally get everything and you take it to court, the court will look at them, you spend money, you pay lawyers, you pay everybody, the evidence of the rigging, the evidence from the IRF, the evidence, then it is time for the court to now rule. The court will now say, technically, you did not submit the case, you did not submit the evidence in time. And because of that, Party A is declared winner for real. Say, what? Oh, you are aware of what happened. You ordered this guy to give us this evidence later. They say, yeah, but technically, by this technicality, by law, there's nothing we can do about it. Maybe you should go and appeal. Then you go to the appeal court. The appeal court says, they waste your time again. All right? Then finally, they will say, by technicality, you did not submit the evidence in time. It was INEC now. It was, yeah, we know, but there's nothing we can do about it. Party A is the winner. Legitimize it. If you find your way to the Supreme Court, the same thing will be said again. And that is what their democracy is in that contraption. Finish what you're saying, Sam.
Is that also? And upload. Collection then happens. And somehow you overlook the real-time capture of the actual result and use the many hours, many days collation with alterations and mutilations on paper. I have not seen where that happens. Now, Now think about elections even in India, bigger than us. In a day, results are out. It's electronically transmitted, real time. People know the result. In the US today, maybe how the results will go, we don't know. It may be midday, before 10 hours, before 5 hours voting started, they will declare result. There's no magic about this. How can you overlook the result captured real time? And then you allow results captured hours after with Biro. I have this something like that. So I think there's need for judicial direction that says, look, the whole essence of election petition is to restore credibility back to voters. It's not for judges to do fanciful sorcery to declare winner or no winner. It's simply for the courts to say, get us back to where the voters voted. It's not the court who elect candidates. So there must be the need now for judicial officers, the Chief Justice of the Federation, or the Federal Court, or the Court of Appeal, to issue the right directive to judges. Your job, you can't see the clear, if you see clear result, that's what it is. And the reason IRF should, by law, be made to be determinative. Results are collected from polling units. They are posted, and that's the result. There's no ritual of, imagine what's called collection. People will now carry with leg, go to local government capital, go to state capital. You go to five stages. Then finally somebody will count it, decide whether he will accept or not, and then will declare whatever he likes. Then 2 days, 4 days after, INEC starts reposting IRF. I mean, that's ridiculous. In the election today, results finished, they are still changing IRF. They're changing IRF. So what mockery is this? So I think this is now time to deal with this once and for all. And don't forget where we're starting from. Anybody deceiving you that this country is not at the verge of collapse is a joker. Any country who says that if we continue this election to 2027, we will remain a country is joking. I can tell you that, there's something that happened in the Bible. Some of us who are Christians. It says, Jesus was telling, it says, if the things that were done, if we are doing, it's not enough. It's not what was done in Sodom and Gomorrah. That they were wiped off. So how dare you think you will survive? The things that made Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger collapse are not more than what we are doing today to ourselves. So somehow we wish that if we issue a press statement, we will divert the tragedy. That is wrong. The final, go back. So we talk about judicial management. And again, that's another one I missed out, is around. So the final point we wanted to talk about is, apart from INEC, yes, we talk about the electoral, the primary process, and then, just 1 second to get, so yes, then.
Don't worry. Professor Sam, don't worry yourself. We get the message. The point is, listening to him can still sound like there is a way out. But I got the part where he clearly stated, that if anybody tells you, that Nigeria is not at the verge of collapse, they are lying to you. But it is not a matter of if, it is a matter of when. It's going to happen. All those things you are seeing in Burkina Faso, you have seen in Burkina Faso, you have seen in Niger, you have seen in Mali, and you are currently seeing in Mozambique, it's going to happen in Nigeria. It's going to be so bloody. And there is no amount, God forbid, that will forbid it. It is not a matter of if. It is a matter of when. It can happen tomorrow morning. Yeah, the whole thing can explode tomorrow morning. And to those who are waiting for 2027, you may not even make it that far. Yeah, generally, like we have been saying it too, right? Tinubu has consolidated his power. To him, it's done with the capture. All these things we are doing right now is just talk. It won't change anything. Opposition can group themselves together. You can push here and there. So Tinubu is a done deal. Yeah, what are you going to do? They control the military. They control the police. They control the judiciary. They are controlling the media. What? do you think is left for them to control that they are not already in charge? You can't force Islam to do electoral reform. No, it's not going to do that. So they are the stage where or more. May God just give that's it. May God just give them long life. Not, in fact, they are so confident as well that they will get long life too. Nothing will happen. That's how confident they are. But to the rest of you, you may not, even Tifnumbu and the rest, they may not make it to that 2027. Because anything can happen. Or may never happen. This man believes that it is the INEC that is the greatest threat to Nigeria. Let's put it on record.
At least on the evening of the election, we have over 90% of the results uploaded, which is exemplary, which is commendable. We also saw that election in Edo was peaceful and without any fatality. However, I think, as I raised in my last observation when we met last time, I will challenge you, Mr. Chairman, to break the culture of impunity, particularly the disturbing trend of results that should not be on IRF being posted there. You see cancelled results that are uploaded. Some of the results are clear case of overvoting. And I think the Commission has the power to investigate, not just asking the police to conduct an administrative investigation. It may not actually affect the overall results or the winner of the election, but we need to ensure the integrity of the results that are on the Commission's portal. I said this with every sense of responsibility. If you look at what KDI and Natana Center have found out from the November 11, 2023 off-cycle election in Kogi, Bayelsa, and Imo, and what was also discovered in Edo, then there is cause for worry. Because where you are having significant number like 10 to 20% of results that should actually not be on the website being there, in a very competitive election, that could actually lead to the overturn of the result declared by the Commission. So it's just something that I need you to see as we approach Ondo, that whoever is posted and is found to have posted results that should not be on the website, cancelled or clear case of overvoting, such individuals should be singled out, handed over to the police for investigation and possible prosecution. That's why SERAP is coming out to say that the Commission is not doing enough in terms of prosecution. I read the response of the Commission, because we need to publicize the efforts of the Commission in terms of prosecution. We know that you are overwhelmed, and that's why you supported the carving out of Electoral Offences Commission, which the National Assembly has not been very forthcoming on. But pending that time that we will have Electoral Offences Commission, please, Mr. Chairman, I'm pleading with you to do your level best to break that culture of impunity that the political class will believe they can induce staff of the Commission to do.
Guess who they are talking to? They are talking to Yakubu, the man behind the worst electoral haste that brought in Tifnumbu, Kolu, the druggie, your president today. And guess what? Yakubu is still going to be your INEC chairman in 2027. Somebody will be supposed to jail, waiting for the firing squad. And they will take him to Bar Beach in Lagos, tie him to a drum, and do what they do to people who committed the kind of crime he has committed. So, we are keeping the record so that when our children will look back to these days, these years back, they will be able to have the true track record of how Nigeria began the journey to a total implosion. Because if you have to, we just have to depend on some of you that will survive with the Stockholm syndrome that is prevalent in that contraption. Some of them selective amnesia. You may change the story. You may change the story. It will implode. And that implosion will claim so many casualties and its victims, right? We'll keeping the record. The people who have become the direct victims of the failed country under the APC, it took, somebody put it that way, that it actually took, it took 13 years for Nigeria Naira to jump from 140 Naira to $1 to 410 Naira to $1. 13 years. And just last year, between February 2023 and October 2024, Nigeria Naira jumped from 410 Naira to $1 to 1,740 Naira. Wow. The entire economy nosedived in a year and a half, nosedived beyond anyone's imagination. In a year, within a year and a half. And no thanks to the Chicago trained accountant, Tifnumbu. Chicago trained accountant. It's never an accountant, is it? No, it was never an accountant. Forget that. Then hunger, starvation, poverty, never seen before. Ebi alakpadupe, opapa, babida, sobidebi. Oh no, God. So people decided to take to the streets. And guess what Tifnumbu did? They kidnapped children. That's what that means. That's the narrative right now. So I was reading it on Twitter or X earlier today. And I was, me, I kind of love to troll some of these Arewa, this, Arewa, that, because they were so vocal during that charade time, because Tifnumbu was sharing money. He was giving them money. Whatever money cannot do, more money will do it. When Tifnumbu now, rigged himself in, it turned to whatever rice cannot do, more rice will do it. Now I started reading the Arewas, asking that if this marriage is not working, then maybe everybody should go their separate and say, there you are. Let's do that. Whenever terrorists kidnap people in Nigeria, whether you are rich or poor, it no matter, they will charge you money, which is ransom money. That's exactly how the Arewa, that's how they saw the kidnapping of children, the Almajiri children that they locked up for over 93 days. It's been 95 days now, or 96 days. It's been 96 days now that Tifnumbu kidnapped Almajiri children who were protesting anger in Nigeria. right? And they lock them up. Everyone is acting like, oh, I am so, like they are surprised, like they are shocked. Meanwhile, this guy's story has never really left the news, right? So now the Arewas are like, Tifnumbu is not different from Alaji Shekau that kidnapped over 200 Chibok girls. Or when they kidnapped over 180 Dapchi girls or school children. Or when they kidnapped 60 people in the Sokoto, 70 people in Niger, and the rest of that they demanded for ransom. Because children who could barely feed, right? They were raided on the streets. So use them as a deterrent to anybody that dares to kind of come out and say they are protesting against anything against Tifnumbu, protesting on anything against Tifnumbu. If they could do this to children, imagine what they would do to you. Now, children that could barely feed have been put on a bail condition of a 10 million naira each. 10 million times 76, that's 760 million. Now, 760 million plus 760 million plus 760 million, that's over 2.1 billion, 2.2 billion naira. That's the ransom that Tifnumbu is demanding. That's what the court said. Even though right now they are trying to say, okay, you know what, we are negotiating, we could let them go. Like the ransom payment that is like, you know what, don't pay anymore, let them go. That's how the North is saying it. And this guy is very much like, specific.
For us in the North, this is clearly reminiscent of the days when you have mass school abductions by bandits, and we bring them out in this large number. Fortunately for us, the case we saw, arraigned by the Minister of Justice to a federal court, they look much worse than what we always get from bandits. So bandits take care of children better than our government. I mean, fellow Nigerians, these children, over 2,000 protesters were arrested during NSAS, during this End Bad Government protest, a protest that is a legitimate right of every citizen. Many were kept without their parents knowing where they were. They were blindfolded. We are getting reports from those who were released. They were blindfolded and transported and detained in centers across the North. These children, and I had the interview of their lawyer, there are 45 minors in this collection of children that were brought to court. These children were brought from Kano, from Kaduna, from Jos, from Gombe to Abuja. What were their crimes? Alleged crimes? Oh, treason. Trying to incite mutiny and change of government by the military, waving Russian flag, causing a regime change. These children you saw, this government is so jumpy and insecure because of what it's doing to this country. This is clearly, I mean, there's no two-way about it. This is clearly the government trying to terrorize us and terrorize the most vulnerable amongst us, our children, and decriminalizing legitimate protests in this country. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a beneficiary of protest and agitation in this country. And what his government is doing is clearly trying to stifle any voice. And the voices of children, the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he's not only our commander-in-chief, but to a nation that is signatory to treaties all over the world in protecting the rights of children. He's also the chairman of ECOWAS. What is he going to tell them? What is he going to tell them? This is a bloody blow and a huge shame to this country, that we're doing this to our children by the government. by the government. When we collect these children from bandits, we take them to hospital and take care of them. But what did President